When the lights go off in your home at night, you probably assume your Monstera does what you do. Rests. Powers down. Waits for morning. It doesn't. In the dark, when no one is watching, your Monstera is busier than it is all day. Moving, closing, rationing, preparing. There's a whole second life happening on your windowsill after midnight. And almost every plant owner sleeps right through it. Once you know what it's actually doing in those hours, you'll never look at that plant in the corner the same way again. And by the end, you'll know the one thing it changes about how you should water it. Most people think a plant at night is a plant on pause. The truth is closer to the opposite. Your Monstera runs some of its most precise, most surprising work in total darkness. And the fifth thing it does is the part that genuinely unsettles scientists, because it means your plant is doing something we usually reserve for animals with brains. Stay for that one. Let's start with the thing you can actually see. Your Monstera doesn't wait for morning. It moves. Not a lazy droop or a wilt, but a quiet, measured shift. One that repeats every night with eerie precision. This isn't just a trick of the light or a sign of tired leaves. It's a ritual proven in the lab, and first captured by Charles Darwin and his son Francis, nearly a century and a half ago. Picture this. A living room in the late 1800s, transformed into a plant observatory. Darwin, determined to catch the secret life of leaves, invents a tool as delicate as the movement he wants to see. A hair-thin glass filament, fixed by a bead of wax to a single leaf tip. Every tiny motion gets magnified, up to 40 times its real angle, and traced onto smoked glass plates. The results are unmistakable. Even when kept in total darkness for days, the leaves keep rising and falling, swinging through arcs of up to 40 degrees, right on schedule. The rhythm doesn't fade. The plant keeps its own time, no matter what the world outside is doing. This was the first hard proof. Your Monstera is following an internal clock, not just reacting to sunset. It's a living metronome, counting the hours in the dark. The nightly posture shift is not an accident or a cry for help. It's a sign of something deeper, a hidden schedule running under the surface, even when you're asleep. And the story gets stranger when you look closer, down to the level of microscopic pores. Now, zoom in. Those glossy leaves aren't the only things moving to a secret schedule. Every night, microscopic pores, stomata, are opening and closing with a rhythm that runs deeper than any lamp or window can set. It's not just a reaction to darkness. It's a built-in timer, ticking on a roughly 24-hour cycle, even if you leave the lights on for days. That fact was nailed down by Anthony Dodd and Alex Webb in a series of experiments that changed how botanists think about houseplants. They tracked stomatol conductance using a pyrometer and found the same daily wave, open, close, marching on under constant light. The clock was inside the plant, not in the room. But here's the kicker. This isn't just a quirk of biology. Plants whose internal clocks match the world outside, wild types with a natural 24-hour rhythm, grew bigger and heavier. When Dodd's team compared them to genetically altered mutants with clocks set too fast or too slow, the matched plants packed on about 20% more dry weight over a month. That's a huge difference, just for keeping time in sync. The right rhythm means more chlorophyll, more carbon pulled from the air, more growth. Miss the beat, and the plant loses its edge. Your Monstera is running a schedule every night, carefully timing when to close its pores, not to rest, but to win at the game of survival. And what happens when those pores close? The answer leaks out, literally, as pressure builds inside the leaf. Sometimes you will spot it before sunrise. Tiny droplets clinging to the tips and edges of your Monstera's leaves, like beads of sweat on glass. They are not dew. They are a message, and the plant is sending it at night, right on schedule. Here is what is really happening. When darkness falls and those microscopic stomata clamp shut, the usual escape route for water closes off. But the roots keep working, pulling water up from the soil. Pressure builds inside every vein, searching for an outlet. That is when hydothodes, specialized pores at the leaf edges, open their doors. The result is guttation, pure water, sometimes laced with minerals, forced out by root pressure and left as droplets along the leaf margin. This is not a random leak. Guttation only happens when the soil is moist and the plant's internal plumbing is under pressure. Too much water in the pot, and you will see more droplets. Not enough, and the leaves stay dry. It is a diagnostic. Your Monstera is telling you exactly how much water is moving through its system after dark. Chronic guttation, especially night after night, can be a red flag for overwatering. The plant's clock has set the stage by closing the stomata. But it is your watering habits that tip the balance. Every droplet is a clue. Too many, too often. And it is time to rethink how much you are giving. The plant's internal schedule is precise. Your care should be too. And what is happening inside the leaf while those droplets form? That is where the real metabolic math begins. Inside every Monstera leaf, there is a nightly calculation running, one that would make a middle school math teacher proud. As soon as darkness falls, the plant faces a simple but relentless problem: how to stretch its food supply, stored as starch, through the entire night without running out early or leaving leftovers to waste. This is not guesswork. Allison Smith and Martin Howard at the John Innes Center cracked the code. Their experiments showed that plants actually divide the amount of starch they have by the number of hours until sunrise. S divided by T. That is the rate. The result is a near perfect straight line decline. Not a scatter, not a panic at midnight, just a steady, measured drawdown, like a budget that never misses a cent. By the time the first hint of dawn arrives, about 95% of the starch is gone. Not 70, not 99. Over and over, the numbers land right on target. Smith and Howard's team tested this by shifting the night, sometimes making it longer, sometimes shorter. The plant adjusted instantly, recalculating the rate so the starch would still last until the next morning. Change the clock, and the arithmetic keeps up. It is a living spreadsheet, fueled by sunlight, governed by an internal timer that knows exactly how long the darkness will last. This is more than survival. It is a strategy, a kind of quiet intelligence humming inside the leaf all night long. And just before dawn, the calculation does not just stop. Something else is already beginning to stir. Minutes before sunrise, your Monstera is already stirring. Deep inside each cell, a wave of gene activity switches on, right on cue. Enzymes for photosynthesis are primed, ready to catch the first hint of daylight. The plant isn't waiting for light to hit its leaves. It's anticipating it. Stomata at the leaf surface, closed all night, start to loosen, preparing to open the instant the dawn arrives. This isn't guesswork. Molecular studies show the clock sets these changes in motion hours before you wake. The Monstera is not just marking time, it's planning for the future. Chasing sunrise before the world even turns blue. All night, your Monstera has been on the move, timing its posture, closing its pores, rationing its food, and releasing droplets only when the pressure gets too high. Every action is a calculation, not a guess. That's why your best move as a caretaker is just as precise. Water in the morning. Here's why. First, the roots are coolest and most ready to absorb before the day heats up. Second, those pores, stomata, are about to open, making uptake faster and safer. Third, standing water lingers if you water late, raising the risk of root rot while the plant can't breathe. And if you spot fresh guttation droplets at dawn, take it as a clue. You might be watering too much. The plant's clock is exact. Your care should be too. While you sleep, your Monstera runs its own high-stakes calculation, timing, rationing, anticipating sunrise. It's not just surviving darkness. It's outsmarting it. Morning watering isn't routine, it's strategy. Matched to a clock, Darwin first glimpsed, and science now proves. Your next move? Let the evidence guide you. Subscribe for more.